Hey folks, Carl here and welcome to Revell's Colonial Viper Mark II episode 4. Okay folks, so as you heard in episode 3 we'd filmed a little bit too much for the single episode, so let's get into some old footage. Okay folks, so that last clip talking complete and utter nonsense as usual. We need to wait for that thing to dry and then we need to work on a few seam lines, so that's going to be 2 or 3 days. So I am going to continue with the diorama. Now I'm going to get this taped up inside, halfway up the inside, and we're going to get the edges taped. Now in order for me to do this I've got to lay it flat on the bench, and if you're watching while I do that you are going to be glared. So I'm going to get this frame taped up and ready, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay folks, that is the taping done. So we taped a thin layer on the inside to stop anything from leaking out through the glass, and we've taped the top edge to protect the picture frame so we don't get any rubbish or marks or scratches on it. And now on the back we are going to fill in around the edge with a little bit of cheap PVA glue. So let's see how much we've got left in here. We should have enough in here. I mostly used it that long ago. It's a little bit sticky. It doesn't want to come off though. There we go. So I'm not going to put that back on, we're just going to use it straight out of the bottle. So we're just going to squeeze and follow the edge very carefully. Don't need to get it bang in because we're going to do that in a minute. Just need to get it near to the edge. Just like so. I haven't gone over yet, which is amazing. So there we go. So we need a little wooden stick, the old coffee stick, and then we're just gonna use right up to the edge. Getting everything in there. And yep, he's done it. There we go. That will do us, and we will leave that be to dry all the way through, and that'll be several hours. So I'm going to go and disappear and do something else for a short while, and I'll speak to you in a moment. Okay folks, so the last few days have been spent filling and sanding, filling and sanding. As you can see, we got this bit done nice and smooth, and we got this bit inside done, but once the glue had set properly things had moved around a little bit, and there was some quite jumpy sections here where it went from one to the other. There was a little bit of a step, so we spent a few days using the some sprue glue, filling it in, sanding it back, taking a look at it, and filling it in, sanding it back, and you can see where the sprue glue has been. So we filled this cap down on the wing as well, and we've sanded it back and we've smoothed it out, sanded it back, smoothed it out. It took a couple of days to do, but it's very much worthwhile because that now is pretty much good seam and good connection between those two pieces, and the same on this side, and of course on top here. So this really is now ready for paint. So I am going to get a small dab of PVA and a little cocktail stick, and we're going to put a little bit of PVA on some card, and there's a bit of card, In fact, we'll use one of these old cups. Let's put a dab on top of there. So, we don't need a lot. What we'll do is, we're going to line up where the cockpit's going and see where we need to put a little touch of PVA. I'm going to do a little bit here and here, and probably a little bit over the top here, and that should be enough to hold this cockpit in place. Dab there, dab there, and where did I say? So this cockpit is sitting like so, so I'm going to put a little dab there, and we should be able to just drop this in place and push it into the PVA like so. And we need to leave that alone and let that PVA go off and see if it's enough to hold it in place. So I'm going to move this off to one side. So that is the construction of that complete. Off camera I've gone and put the figure together. Now, so far I've cut one leg off, but I'm going to cut the other one off because obviously this guy's going to be standing in water. So that's where we are with the figure. And that is pretty much us ready to get that stuff into paint, but we are going to be doing a little bit on the diorama because that's going to be a few days drying, and then that'll let us continue with other bits and pieces. So I'm going to get the base out, get it here, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, you have to excuse this glare for a minute, but that'll be gone in a second. So we are going to put down a thin layer of polyfiller. Now the stuff we're using is just this stuff. I've got to be careful because I'll show you in a second. It's just standard polyfiller from the local shop, and we've gone and we've watered this down quite a lot, so it's quite runny, and we are just going to pour a very small amount on here and spread it out thin just to give us a base to work from. So we're not going to need a huge amount, I don't think. That is probably going to be enough, and this is the reason why we've taped up around the edges. So put that to one side for a second, and then we'll just swish this around, get it spread into all corners. So we may need a little bit more. Might do us, we'll see. Cover that last little bit. So give it a bit of a shake, so we now have a base down. Because we plan to build this up and leave this part here a little bit deeper than everywhere else. So we'll build it up a few layers at a time and build like a rise onto the shore. So that is that done. That's going to take us. That's going to take a couple of days to dry, probably, or maybe not, with it being so thin. Oh, excuse me, I just bashed the camera. With it being so such a thin layer, it may not. So we shall see. So I'm going to move this to somewhere safe, and we'll be back in a moment. Okay, folks, we've gone and added a second layer. It's still damp to the touch, so it won't make much to disturb it, so I'm not going to mess around with it. We put a little, almost a bar here to stop any more going into this corner, because this is where we're going to have the water. So even though it's still damp, it's dry enough to put another layer on. So I'm just going to mix this up, and we will get another thin layer down and let that dry as well. So we're going to start in this corner. There we go. That is all that used up. Move this around a bit, fill the corners, like so. Down into that corner. And into this one. Go. I think I will leave it just like that. So that again is going to take 24 hours to dry up, and I am not 100% sure how long this video has been going on for, so I'm going to call it there, let this dry properly. And one more thing with the ship itself, I said I was going to prime it, but I'm not, because we're going to be needing to shape where we're going to lay it, and we need to shape the ground with it. So I'm going to keep it unpainted and wrap it in cling film, and then once this is dry we'll be using another pot of this, but unmixed, and we'll actually be shaping the ground we're going to be mounting it all on. So excuse me, a bit of a cold coming on. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Be good and be safe, and as always, keep making models, and we will catch you next time. Ta-ta.